What's good, everybody? It's your boy Dominic, also known as Dom the Cyber Geek, and today I'm coming at you guys with another video. I'll be dissecting an article from Bleeping Computer, and the article is on the newest Twitter phishing campaign. Let's get started. Hey everybody, I'm back. On my left, I have my Cyber Threat Intelligence report / write-up, and then on the right, I have the Bleeping Computer article. Before I get into, my report, I just want to give you guys a little clarification on what Cyber Threat Intelligence is. Cyber Threat Intelligence is really what us researchers are going to do. We're basically analyzing, processing, and trying to interpret data that's happening within cyberspace. So, different attack landscapes, how attacks are happening, what's, the latest cybersecurity news, and, what are the latest vulnerabilities out there. And our goal is to kind of just put this in an easy format for, business executives, CISOs, C-suites to actually understand, or for anyone to understand, in order to, educate them on the latest cybersecurity news, trends, and events. Furthermore, let's get started. This is the Twitter phishing email target attack. As everybody knows, Elon Musk is the new CEO of Twitter, and with that, he has had some interesting, tweets that that I've seen, and it's really revolving around the blue check and different verification accounts and what the process of that is and how he's setting up a new process for that. So as I get started, for the overview, what I put was there's been an increase in phishing attacks toward verified users on Twitter. Elon Musk has tweeted this out. This happened, I believe, earlier this week. Twitter has, had new plans or is planning to change the verification process for users and how users are actually verified. He's saying that, they're going to actually implement a payment system, so where you're going to have to pay $8 a month just to keep your blue check and just to have, the verification. Because of that, there has been a major uptick in phishing emails targeting these verified users, and this is due to, Elon Musk announcing this on his Twitter, as well as different tweets and Instagram posts that he's did in the last week. This isn't the first attack that Twitter has had. There's been multiple attacks that have hit Twitter. Usually the threat actors are hacking already verified accounts and are impersonating those accounts and trying to get people to click on links, steal crypto, and things of that nature. But getting back into this article, this is just going over what landscapes and how these scammers are able to draw in users. So, before I even get into that, you just want to know, I guess everybody knows about the blue check, how, it verifies you and things like that. And they're just saying that this blue check is going to give people a lot of, it's going to be a little bit more of I want to say perks that Elon said that you were going to get. He said that you're going to see fewer ads. That's probably the only good thing. Besides that, it's just priority and replies and mentions in search. So it's nothing really too, I want to say, big. The media content is cool, but it's nothing really big to where you should have to pay money for a subscription to get, verified and things, of that, that nature. Bleeping Computer also came out saying that they were the ones that, I don't want to say first, but they were the ones that were observing these newer phishing, campaigns targeting verified users. And just like the ones that are in, the past that Twitter has faced and just phishing schemes in general, the goal is to try to attack your emotions. Attack your emotions. Either get you riled up, make you feel urgent, make you feel scared, make you feel sad, or angry. They're just trying to play with your emotions. These scammers really don't care, and all they want is either your credentials, your money, or crypto. Those are the only three things they really want, or they just want to cause havoc and be, cruel. But what is it? These actual phishing accounts, or not accounts, these phishing emails are trying to convey a false sense of urgency, like I said. In the email, they're trying to urge users to sign into their Twitter in order to avoid the risk of, their account getting suspended or deleted. Typical, stuff when it comes to these social media phishing attack campaigns. They were saying that the emails were originating from servers of hacked websites and blogs, and some of the examples are the threat actors hosting them on sites of outdated WordPress versions or running unpatched vulnerable plugins. And I would think that the reason why they're doing this is that they already know the vulnerabilities within those sites, and they already know the WordPress vulnerabilities for those versions that aren't patched. So I feel like they're trying to get the user to click on that, and then they're just going to exploit all the vulnerabilities on that, website. And then, WordPress just allows you to actually build out. It's one of the frameworks, coding frameworks, that allows, a user or a company to build out, a website. And then once, the user clicks on the link, it takes them to a phishing link that, poses as Twitter like usual. And then they're gonna, constantly spam them with messages and use them, reuse or misuse the $8 monthly fee that Elon Musk has stated in many of his tweets. Once the users enter their credentials, the web page then collects the Twitter's usernames, the passwords, and then they try to proceed to send them a two-factor authentication code. So they're really getting clever. These scammers are really getting clever nowadays. They're trying to make it really real with the pictures, coloring, branding, and just trying to make it all real and things like that. Weeping Computer has analyzed a few other messages, and they were saying that these ones were kind of the same. They were using the $8 monthly fee, and to be able to avoid void the payment or having to pay that, you needed to click on the link to view the Twitter invoice, and then the emails that match the working phishing page are meant to, mimic the Twitter company branding, and they're trying to just persuade you to click on this fake invoice that really isn't there. The goal is just to steal your credentials, really. And I would just get into that. Before, I would say, like, now you kind of know what attackers are doing and how they're able to, gain initial access, but you also need to know, like, why, what is their motive, I feel like, or, the main reason why the motive of attacking Twitter is, it could be for politics reasons. Maybe they don't like Elon Musk. Maybe they, they're an activist, or, the main reasons are, what I think is that, people that usually have verified accounts are celebrities, journalists, news stations, and really big companies. So, those companies have a lot of assets, they have a lot of private information, and they have a lot of, inventory and, money. So, obviously threat actors are going to target people with money, and that's really, a lot of these attacks are based off of financial motivations, financial motives, and things like that. Now I'm getting into the attack tactics, techniques, and procedures. It isn't exactly what they did, but this is kind of a good, like, broad scale of what the attackers may have done, what techniques, tactics, and procedures they actually did to make this attack happen. I was actually able to get all these from the MITRE ATT&CK framework. This is the MITRE ATT&CK framework right here. It's an open source framework that allows you to just see all the, vulnerabilities, or I don't want to say vulnerabilities, but allows you to see all the tactics, techniques, and procedures that attackers may run: reconnaissance, gathering information, executing malware, privilege escalation, being able to elevate your privileges, and take over accounts, things like that. Anyways, scroll a little bit down, some quotes that they've said. There's some emails or pictures that they've actually put, which is kind of crazy to think about. Another picture right here. See, look how it looks real. Look at that, they're using the logo. Obviously you would see the link right here. That's gonna, give it a way that that's not a Twitter account, or that's not a Twitter URL. So just be on the lookout for those. And then just getting into these attack techniques and procedures. So reconnaissance, that's a big one. Gathering information. Phishing for information, gather victim identity information. They were able to use this phishing attack to gain access to users' Twitter's accounts. They were able to steal their usernames and passwords, and they were also able to send them, 2FA codes, initial access. This is how the attacker was able to initially get in. This is what this is a technique, or this is what the attacker was able to do to actually gain access to users' accounts, or systems. Once they get access to them, valid accounts, they can start abusing them, doing things of that nature. Phishing, that's the main thing of this. That's the main, I guess, theme of this article, is phishing, and how these threat actors are taking advantage of the verified users and actually scamming them out of their accounts. Trusted relationships, so they're trying to pretend that they're from Twitter, and they're trying to make it seem like this is happening with the $8 fee, and that to get rid of it, this is what you would do. Or to say, I've seen even other articles saying that Some threat actors are saying that you can get out of the payment, and this is how you would do it. You would click on the email, which is obviously false, and then exploit a public-facing application. That's going to be the actual phishing site pretending to be, a real Twitter login page. Resource development. So I got compromised accounts. Compromising accounts kind of is plain and simple. Once they gain access, they can compromise, do anything to basically your account if they have access to it. Defense evasion. Sorry about that. Defense evasion is kind of like what the attacker is doing to stay hidden. And what he did was masquerading. So he was able to masquerade an email, or they were able to masquerade emails, as well as a phishing website pretending to be Twitter and saying that this is how you could get rid of the $8 fee, or this is how you can waive it or void it. Exfiltration over C2 channels. So the command and control channel server is what allows an attacker to communicate and execute his malicious commands on a person's network, system, or computer. Usually when it comes to phishing attacks and a user is actually entering their credentials into a phishing website, the attacker has a command and control server that's contacting or communicating with the actual hacked website to gather all the credentials. Credential access, another big thing. I would say steal web session cookie, unsecured credentials, and exploitation for credential access. The main point was to get into these people's Twitter's accounts, steal anything that was private, and with that, if these verified users, and I've seen that it's known for politicians and government officials and all these higher up people that you would think would know better, they would use weak passwords, and that can also lead to credential stuffing attacks where they take the breached password and try to use it on different accounts to log in. Unsecured credentials, these credentials aren't encrypted or anything like that, or they don't have an antivirus or anything, then those are stolen. And then stealing web session cookie. So when you're logging in or requesting a page or anything, you have what is called a session. Within that session, you have cookies, which is your browsing information. You have authentication tokens, things of that nature. So possibly, usually with phishing account attacks, the attacker could possibly steal the web session cookie, and that can contain, maybe passwords, cookies, hashes, as well as, authentication codes to allow them to get into your account without even actually using the 2FA or having a phone. Next one is impact. Pretty self-explanatory. Impact, what is the actual impact? This is going to be data manipulation, data destruction. When it comes to data manipulation, this means that they can manipulate the data, they can edit the data, post as other people. There was another breach that I saw with a company called Fast Company where they got breached, and the threat actors were actually manipulating the data and website and posting racial messages on the channel or on the news site. So that could happen to a Twitter account, especially with these verified users and how politics and the economy's going right now. One saying and you're canceled, really. So it's like you better really watch how you say stuff and word things, so an attacker can actually play with people's words and play with the account and actually make it seem like it was coming from them. Data destruction, this means deleting the data, stealing the data, then deleting it, encrypting it, doing whatever they want basically with the data. Persistence, this is when the attacker is keeping their foothold. They're trying to maintain their foothold. So once they gain initial access, they're trying to see, can they maintain it, and what other privileges or access they can actually get to within the account. And I had account manipulation, again, manipulating account, and about accounts, seeing if they can do anything within the account, abuse it, things like that. Privilege escalation, this is a big one. Obviously, if we have a Twitter account or we have an account and it's just one account on there, we're technically the admin, right? So usually an attacker is going to go for someone, say Sally in sales or somebody that's low ranked. They're going to go for the big dogs. They're going to go for the CISOs, the C-suites, the developers, the professional athletes, these verified accounts. So their whole goal is to get privilege escalation. That's when exploitation for privilege escalation comes in. Whatever scams or things that they're doing, or whatever tools they're deploying on that phishing site, that's what they're actually going to do to gain higher privileges. And the higher privileges you get, the easier it is for you to access a lot of things, the more information you can access, and the more attacks are endless when it comes to that. Execution, this is like a big one. It's funny to me because I feel like for phishing, for tactics and techniques, this is an automatic one that's on there. Like, I feel like it's not gonna never be on here because phishing starts with the end user. If the end user never ever clicked on the email, then they would never fall into this trap, right? So this comes into cybersecurity education, hygiene. Do you know what a phishing attack is? Are you looking at the URL? Are you looking at the sender? Are you looking at, spelling errors and things like that? So that's another thing. User execution is really big. The user has to execute and involve themselves and click on the links and interact with the email for this scam to actually work. And then the last one was just lateral movement, internal spear phishing. Same as phishing, but this is where they have specific targets. So the specific targets are the government politicians, the professional athletes, people that are verified on here, news accounts, things like that. And then once they get control of those accounts, they can then start emailing other people within those companies and start trying to get them to do things that are detrimental to the company's infrastructure. I know that was a lot. We're almost done. I got affected assets and organizational impact, and then we got mitigation and response, and then we done, y'all. But for the affected assets, the blue badge to your name, just to give some little, context, the blue badge to your name is given to, politicians, celebrities, businesses, public figures, news organizations, and journalists. Those are the things you just want to know, because it's like, if I'm a regular Twitter user, still worry about phishing, but it's like, I'm not going to worry about, this because I'm not really verified, right? I'm not going to be specifically targeted for the verification. And these badges are really just status symbols. They really don't do nothing. I don't think they're going to make you more money. I think they could get you a little bit more girls, but, that's a whole other story. But, people just have them. And this is really what opens up the field for threat actors to, target them with phishing attacks. And then, they can also sometimes hack, the blue badge accounts to push crypto scams. That was kind of what happened earlier in the year, where they were taking over these accounts, stealing them, and then using the credentials to try to hack into, their cryptocurrency wallets. Like I was saying earlier, this isn't the first Twitter attack revolving around verified users and other scams. Like I was saying, the threat actors verified accounts and impersonated the people. They've impersonated the hacked accounts and then misled the public to sending, users, or my bad, they were misleading the public and got, they were interacting with them and got them to send, DMs and things like that. And, they were able to send suspension DMs to their emails, which got them scared, which then comes back to the emotions and playing with your emotions and trying to get you to act urgently. And usually these attacks work because, we're human creatures. We're humans of habit. We make mistakes. If, we see something that gets us angry, we're going to get angry. See something that's sad, we might get, sad. So, and typically when we go off our emotions and make decisions off of our emotions, it's kind of, bad, and it's not really thought through. Mitigation and response. This is what users can do to help mitigate this attack. Obviously, cybersecurity has gotten so bad, or cyber attacks and cybercrime damage has gotten so bad to where we can't be 100% secure ever. You can't be 100% secure ever. That's just not possible. Everything is just revolving. Technology is growing. Different attacks are growing every day, each second, each minute. So it's kind of impossible to have 100% security. But you can always limit the likelihood. Key term, keyword. Limit the likelihood. We can always limit the likelihood of an attack happening. And what they can do, or what it starts off as, or what Twitter can do, is add basically authenticity to notable accounts, and basically determining, making sure those accounts are actually the real ones, and making sure people can interpret those as the real accounts. Ways they can do that is giving them special labels, kind of like how you see here with this Joe Biden profile. It has the United States government flag on it, so that's a special symbol. This should basically just allows the basically what it does, it allows the user to determine which account is actually real and which is notable and things like that. The notable accounts are seeing which ones are real or not. And then as far as the users and things like that, it's really on us, because Twitter and these companies, they can put in different protocols. They could put in 2FA, they could put in mandatory security policies with your password, but in the end, it's always going to be on the end user. The end user needs to really be educated. Schools, companies really need to do a way better job. I mean, a way better job of educating employees. It's kind of, I don't want to say horrible, but it's kind of sad, and it's frustrating seeing these attacks and how simple they can be, and how just by one click of a button it can spread ransomware or malware throughout a whole infrastructure and damage a company's reputation forever. Key term right there. But as far as what the users can do, we need to make sure we're doing our due diligence and reading emails carefully and where they're coming from. Make sure we're reading the URLs. Make sure we're reading the sender, who it's from. Make sure we're actually hovering over a link. If you see right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but if I hover over this link right here at the bottom of my screen, it says what that link is taking me to. If it doesn't say twitter.com and it says some other stuff, PHP or phishing site or whatever, then don't click on it. And then always, when it comes to phishing, never open or click on any links or files that look dangerous or that are, unfamiliar. It's kind of hard to call Twitter support because these social media companies have really bad support. I don't want to say teams, but being able to get to somebody is kind of hard. But it would be different if this was like a bank, because with a bank, you can actually call your bank and see if anything has been illegally going on your account. But anyway, always look for the spelling errors. Phishing campaigns are, really common for threat actors to, misspell things. So always look at that. Maybe they put 3 T's for Twitter instead of 2, or they put, 2 I's instead of 1 I. So always look for those key little errors. And then another best security practice, is to just do research. Like how I did research for this, right? You want to look at tweets, look at posts, look at, articles, things of that, nature, to see real time the posts of what people are actually doing and what, the authorities for that, company are saying, right? So if you were to say, if you didn't know that you were getting charged with, if you're a verified user and you weren't up to date, that Elon sent out a tweet, then you may have clicked on it, right? But if you would have did your due diligence, looked up saying, okay, Elon said it's $8. All right, let me be on the lookout for that. I know he's not going to send emails personally to me. So, just being on the lookout for those things like that. And, that's it. That's all it is for my cyber threat intelligence report. This is my write-up. The main goal of these things, or what I'm trying to bring to here, is just really being a contributor and explaining to you guys the latest cybersecurity events, news, and trends. And you want to be able to try to put it into a format like this, right? So then it's super easy for a CISO to understand. Obviously, they may not read all of this and they may not read this, but if you can kind of, in the first 1 to 2 paragraphs, really explain what's going on, who's getting attacked, and how does it affect our company, then that can have a good detail and leave a good impression for your CISO, and then they can start counting on you more. As far as that, I was able to get all this information from these 3 articles: Beeping Computer, Gizmodo, and the Information Security Magazine, as well as MITRE ATT&CK, the open source framework. And that's it for my cyber threat intelligence report. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what other videos you want to see and what other articles you want me to actually, do. And for that, I'm out, y'all. Peace.